Showdown, Dodgers, Padres, first place at stake. It starts Tuesday night at 7:10 p.m. at Dodger Stadium. Used to be the Dodgers would dominate this rivalry, not this year at least. Padres have beaten these guys 7 of the last 10 meetings. And at stake is first place. First place in the National League West, and at stake is probably the first wild card slot, which is really huge. First place is big because you get almost a week's bye to get your pitching staff rested. First place wild card is equally as important, home field advantage, at least in the first round, before you have to go on the road for the rest of the playoffs. All right, let's just talk. We'll argue back and forth. Some people will call it a discussion. He and I will argue back and forth, and then you can join us in Fans Forum with your opinion. The host says, let's compare. Batting orders. Who has the better batting order? The Dodgers with all the power atop, or the Padres full batting order and bench bunch that can win games for you? I think it's a wash. Padres, they'll find ways to beat you with all their contributors. The Dodgers will beat you with the big bats at the top of the batting order. That's why they're at 92 wins this season. But the way Padres are doing business, they got 90 wins this season. So, John, which is the better batting order?
Well, if everybody on the Padres could go 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in one day, then it wouldn't be any question that the Padres would be better. Now, the Dodgers, yeah, they're top heavy. You know, I mean, it's those first 3 or 4 guys are all great. But, you know, the bottom of that order, they've been improving a little bit, haven't they, Lee? I mean, what are you seeing from like guys like Chris Martin?
Well, Gavin Lux is the one that's made the biggest jump.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's a lot of consistency on the bottom half of that batting order. Even though they got Mac Muncy back, he's not hitting like he did before. I just look at the Padres' 9 bats and 3 deep off the bench, and they've all won games with them. I don't see all those other guys at the bottom half of the Dodger batting order winning games for LA. It's all coming from Showtime and Mookie and Freddie Freeman and maybe occasionally from Will Smith. I think it's a wash. I think they can both win games. They just do it very, very differently.
It is interesting how the Padres will have Donovan Solano batting 8th, and you're like, holy crap, that's
hitting
like a
290.
Really, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a really deep lineup. I mean, so the Dodgers are going to have that inconsistent flow, but man, yeah, a wash. Yeah, I think it's the top of the order for the Dodgers better than the top of the order for the Padres, and then vice versa on the bottom.
Let's talk about starting rotation. Jack Flaherty. That's all. That's all they have. As we sit here on a Monday, they got Jack Flaherty. Yash Yamamoto got knocked around in a second start coming off the disabled list. Walker Buehler is 1-6. You never know what you're going to get. There is no Clayton Kershaw at this moment. There is no Tony Gonsolin, not ready to be activated. Where is the Dodger starting pitching going to come from in this series, much less the postseason? The Padres, you got Cease, you got Java Joe, you got Michael King. Starting rotation, better in San Diego than it is in Los Angeles. Bullpen, I'm not sure who you can trust on a night-by-night basis in LA. Padre bullpen, 3 closers, 7 deep. I give the advantage to the Padres in the bullpen too. Starters, closers. 1 starter, erratic closers. And John Riley says,
I saw a projection of the starting line or the starting pitchers for this series. And one of these games, the Dodgers are doing a bullpen game. Yeah. I mean, they don't even have like enough arms to throw. I mean, if the Dodgers are going to win this thing, they're going to win it like they did on Sunday against the Rockies and hit 2 bombs in the bottom of the 9th and win a slugfest. Because I don't understand how that pitching can hold it together. I saw Trinan was pitching again, but he's still not quite the same. It's weird.
So the Friars have the advantages on the mound. In the dugout, Dave Roberts, can't argue, 8 division titles, biggest bankrolled franchise in modern-day baseball in the National League. Mike Shildt, 90 wins in San Diego after all the 90-win seasons in St. Louis. Mike Schilt has brought law and order to the clubhouse. Leader, pushes the right buttons, does not make a hell of a lot of mistakes, and has gotten his guys collectively to buy into the sales pitch. Great respect to Dave Roberts. But Dave can't control the health and the non-health of the pitching staff. Schilt has got all the pistons firing on the Friar side of the first base line. I give the advantage in the manager's seat to Mike Schilt and the Padres.
Dodger fans are still angry about Dave Roberts. It's crazy. But, Mike Schilt is sort of like low-key genius, I mean, he's kind of has like an unassuming personality, but when you start listening to him, you can understand that dude's multi-layered deep in his intelligentsia around baseball. So the Padres have to be excited about all this, but you're getting pretty fired up here. Are you counting your chickens before they hatch?
No, I'm just excited looking. Is it Tuesday night yet?
Yeah, I know.
I just think this is fascinating to see how this thing has evolved. One closing quote about all this sales pitch. Dave Roberts said yesterday, all the teams have played this year on their schedule, even though they are in first place. Dave Roberts' comment, the Padres are the best team we have faced all season. That came from the Dodger manager. Argument over. Padres should win this thing.
Yeah, but that's also a subtle message to his guys to say, you better be ready Tuesday night at 7:00, because we might not only be facing him now, but maybe again in the playoffs.
Okay, you're a Padre fan, you're a Dodger fan. You want to throw beanballs at each other, that's okay. Fans forum chat box is open. I'm not going to finish this podcast without taking Dodger and Padre calls as we embark on the 3 big games of the season. They're going to decide so many different things. Okay, we go from Friars